Brindley here with Jason Martin, our September cover story.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? What can you learn? And that person is likely your biggest challenge in life.
Hello, everyone. This is Kristin Brindley, publisher of DC Metro Real Producers. I'm here with our September cover story, Jason Martin. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me. It's awesome. Being featured is a treat, and we appreciate you thinking of us, and our entire team and my entire family is super excited about it. So thank you.
Absolutely. You were nominated by a couple people within the Real Producers community, and everyone can see why. I mean, the volume and so on is there, which 68 million is nothing to sneeze at this past year. And you guys always grow 20-25%. But what I love is when we're talking, it's about your team and how they're growing and how people have grown 50%, 100% in 1 year. And you were talking about someone in their first 5 years going after 100 deals in a year. And those are the things that you seem to light up about. So
yeah. It's
fun to talk to you about those things, So, you're a real smart guy. Why real estate? Why did you choose real estate? Tell us about that a little bit.
Sure. It wasn't a thoughtful decision back in 2005, I think I decided real estate, maybe 2003. Been doing this a long time now, almost coming up on 20 years. So one of my good friends who's actually a sponsor, I believe, of Real Producers, Greg Kingsbury, was a loan officer at the time, and I grew up with him, and he was a great friend of mine and still is. And I was looking for a career change, and he's like, why don't you try real estate? And my thought process was as simple as this. I like people. I can't sit at a desk, and maybe my ceiling is not predetermined in real estate. And that was it. And I tried it. And here we are 17, 18 years later, still doing it.
For you. What's been your biggest challenge as a realtor?
I think every year presents a new challenge. So what do I mean by that? So certain years are just, they're harder than others. Market shift, it's a changing industry. It's a changing business. So I'm always evolving, trying to figure it out. And I'm always tweaking it. I sort of think of it like like if I were a race car, right? I'm constantly tinkering, trying to figure out the way to maximize the speed and fuel efficiency. And do I need new tires? Am I burned out, or am I in the lead, or what lap am I on? So I think the business is constantly changing, constantly evolving. And that's a challenge, but it's a good challenge because it keeps you on your toes. You don't get stagnant. You don't get complacent.
And you're always growing. Like we talk growth and nice. So tell me a little bit about what's been most rewarding.
Oh man, that's a super easy one. For me, it's watching people evolve into the agents they want to become and the people they want to become. Even more important than the agents they want to become, I get to see people go through life and take their lives to a whole nother level. And real estate's that vehicle. So people growth is just super, super rewarding for me. And I gravitate towards that. That's what excites me. After 17 or 18 years in the business, the transaction itself, we talk about transaction count and volume, and that's well and good. And I like that. And we need that from the business standpoint. But if you really want to know what gets me going each day, it's finding someone that has drive, has talent, has good core values, and just helping them move their lives along. And that's what gets me going.
So how does it fit into, say, your dreams and goals, real estate, at this point in your life?
I think real estate's just an opportunity to figure out whatever you want to figure out. You and I have talked about this a bunch. You're an entrepreneur, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, and so you can relate to this. Real estate gives you that opportunity to really play with different business models, to look inside of different businesses with a different lens, and it just creates it's just a nice training ground. I always tell people I feel like I'm going to grad school constantly. I feel like I'm in grad school, and real estate is teaching me business. and how to do business at a high level. My confidence that I could go and run different businesses, and I do dabble in a couple of others, is pretty high. And that's because of real estate.
Define success for us. What's success to you?
If it success to me is first and foremost, it's my family. So if I'm as successful as a father and a husband, those boxes are checked. That's good enough for me. If that's all there is, that's good enough for me. That's success at the highest level. At the professional level, when I'm finished with my career, whenever that is, if I could have a lasting impact on those most important to me in the professional realm, that carries over into their lives and a meaningful impact for them, that's a success for me.
Well, this is a perfect follow-up to that. Tell us more about your family. Tell us about your family.
3 kids, twins that are now 13, and then a up and coming 9-year-old who turns 9 in October. My wife Jennifer, and Scooby the dog. That's my gang.
What are you currently learning, Jason? Like, what's important to you right now that you're learning?
I feel like I'm always learning this one, but I'm training myself in patience right now. The entrepreneurial spirit that we talked about, it's not usually patience isn't my strong suit. And I'm looking at people that have been doing things for a long time that are successful. They understand the sense of urgency. At the same time, they understand the sense of patience. And so I'm really, really working on that, because we want stuff instantly, right? And good things aren't instant, and unless it's coffee, which that is a great thing. But yeah, it's having patience, knowing that you're on the right path, and knowing that your journey, whether it gets you the results you thought it was going to get you or not, is going to be impactful on your growth and your development. And that takes patience. So that's what I'm really working on right now, and it's just a mindset.
I love it. So what are your hobbies and interests like outside of the business?
Well, if you ask my wife, she'll tell you I have a ton of hobbies, which is true, sort of. Like I love anything. Like right now, in the past few months, I started playing tennis, which is awesome because I like competition. I like being outdoors. I like breaking a sweat. Pre-pandemic, basketball was my thing, so I've shifted gears into tennis, and really all sorts of things. I have a motorcycle that I like to ride occasionally.
Yeah.
As soon as my kids get old enough, I'll go back to playing a little golf. I love reading, love reading, and as you know, I picked up a new challenge that I've been working on for a while. So we're going to be releasing our first book later this year.
So on that thought process, so I was going to ask you about your favorite book, quote, maybe a couple of those, and then also more about what you're writing and what you're putting out there. So yeah.
Well, this one's not going to be a surprise to you, and you and I speak this language pretty well. It's The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Love that book. It's simple, it's inspirational, it's so true, and that's probably one of my favorites. I'm currently reading The River of Doubt about Theodore Roosevelt. His trip down the Amazon that almost killed him. I'm not to the end yet, but I'm pretty sure he lives through it. But yeah, I'm currently reading that, and then my book, like we talked about earlier, comes out hopefully, fingers crossed, later this year, and just really excited about that. That's been a big project. It's a big thing I want to get checked off, and it's coming together pretty well. You'll appreciate this. I set out to write a inspirational book about business and life, and like had it all mapped out in my head as a first-time author, right? And then I submitted it to the content editor, who told me I was missing the mark, and that my real mark, that she was lucky enough, she was able to pick out like what came through and what she thought I was trying to say. She said, your real mark is you're writing a book for your family. And as I went back and looked at it, I was like, oh, wow, you nailed it. That's actually exactly what I'm trying to do. So it's a book for my family, but I think people, whether you have kids, don't have kids, or whatever, I think people will find, I hope people will find inspiration in it at any age, any level. I just synced it to kind of my life through my family, and that's what it's going to be about. It's all these topics on the board behind me right here, which you can't see, but it's they're starting to come off because I'm almost done with it, which is awesome.
I'm excited to read it. Like I enjoy our conversations. Well, what do you feel sets you apart or makes you different, Jason?
That's a tough question because you have to brag on yourself a little bit, and I don't necessarily like to do that. I'm happy to tell you what I'm up to. I would just say my core values. How about that? My core values are pretty important to me. So integrity is a big thing when it comes to real estate for sure, and family life as well. I believe in having fun. Not all work and no play is not. It's not. I'm not doing this just to work every day. I can tell you that. And I genuinely care about people and the impact I can have on their lives, and I care about my family and the people I'm in business with dearly. So if that sets me apart, I'm cool with that. I would like to think everybody kind of has that mentality, and I hope everybody has that mentality.
What are the biggest reason or reasons like for your success, do you think? So maybe it's a habit or a way that you think. Like, how do you feel that it has impacted or made you successful?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask this question, so I spent a little bit of time thinking about it, and I'll try and narrow it down for you. I think what has made me successful is my ability just to stick to it over time, and it's specific to real estate. And if you look at 17 or 18 years, there was probably a dozen times throughout those 17 or 18 years I was scratching my head going, oh, what am I doing, or why am I doing this, or like even certain times where you go, is real estate, is this what I'm going to do? And at the end of the day, I kept coming back to it. So I really think it's my ability just to kind of get back up off the mat. The business can be a grind. It's going to punch you in the gut. It's going to punch you in the face. You have to recover. So I think it is ability to get back up and go at it again. And one other thing, I've gotten more clarity around what I want to do in the business over the past few years. And I told my team last year, I was like, last year was the most fun year I've ever had in the business, which is awesome to be in it that long. That was so fun for me. And this year, there's a lot of obstacles, obviously, but I am still having fun. So I'm running to what excites me in the business, and I just stick with it, and I just keep going. So I think that's a big part of it.
So what do you feel like maybe has been your biggest failure, and what lesson did you learn from it?
Yeah, I've had many failures. So I mean, we could do the entire interview on failures, quite frankly. And I know you hear that from a lot of people, but it's true. I've had many failures. Certainly professional, personal, you name it. I've had failures. We're human. That's what happens. I think early on in my career, I didn't surround myself automatically with the right type of people. Not bad people, but I wasn't clear enough on where I was going early on, which didn't lead me to sort of filter the people I was letting into my own organization properly. And nothing against any of those people. I'm super proud of those folks, by the way. But it was, when I look back at it, I probably could have been further along whatever path I'm on right now if I were more strategic and more thoughtful about the type of people that I wanted to pour into, and that could pour into the organization. And now I'm very thoughtful about that and very strategic about that.
I think that's a great lesson. Thank you for sharing that with us. What do you think is something that you've done that other real producers absolutely should do?
they should make sure that they give back to the people that are most important to them in their business frequently, and make that their top priority. If they make that their top priority, I think everything else is going to work out just fine for them. And I've had to learn that. Like that's the ability just to. It's so fun, Kristin, when you get to see like somebody that you've poured everything into for years and years and years, and then now they're taking an organization, and I'm talking about John. He won't be surprised. Now he's taking our organization. And I gave everything I had into John, and he'll tell you that. Now he's taking our organization to a whole nother level. And if I didn't give him everything I had, it's just this awesome relationship of like, man, you're cool. Our values sync up, and just to go at it that way and see what's happening with the organization, because that was my number one thing, is just to make sure he achieved everything he wanted to achieve. And now because of it, the organization's doubling and tripling, and our unit count's going up 25% per year. And make no mistake, it's not me. It's now happening because of him. And so it's now sort of becoming, and this is the first time I've ever actually admitted this, it's actually becoming his organization. And it's a little hard to give it up, but it's really, really cool to see that. So I would say just give everything you have to the people that are important to you. Do it for the right reasons. And I think you will be pleasantly surprised with the results.
I love that. What would you like to be remembered for, Jason?
As I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, if on my gravestone it says "great father, awesome husband," and those are the only two things there, I'm cool with that. At the end of the day, in the business world, I'd like to be remembered as somebody who cared about the people. And I know I keep going back to people. That's my whole game, is people. And I'm aware of it, and I like it, and it's exciting to me. And if I could have a lasting impact on people's lives and careers, that's cool by me.
So kind of close out a little bit. I mean, is there anything else you'd like to share with our real producers, or any fun stories?
What I would just tell you is that it's been super fun to be on the cover. My family, we all had a great time. We had the photo shoot in our backyard, and talking about it with friends and family members, and the actual love I received from people by just putting out there the real producers has been overwhelming. I didn't expect that, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. So you get all these messages of like, oh, he's great, what a great family, blah blah blah. I'm like, I didn't expect any of that. So it was pretty cool. So thank you. How about that?
Thank you so much, Jason. I loved all the photos, and I love your article too. And thank you for that. Well,
Yeah.
you're at DC Metro Real Producers, and thank you so much, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.